Warning: the following video is a reflection of my experiences throughout the course of this semester. During this video, you shall gain a tiny glimpse of the strange place that I call my mind. Viewer discretion is advised. In the beginning, August 28th to be exact, we were asked, what do you think of when you hear the words climate change? Now I, or anyone else in the class, could probably go on all day about what comes to mind when hearing climate change. But at the time, the only thing that I could muster was this. Just kidding. Sort of. I managed to come up with a sense of division. In recent years, there has definitely been a great deal of conflict over whether or not this concept is actually real. On one hand, the weather always seems to be doing something crazy, but on the other hand, Earth's climate has undergone dramatic changes before. If climate change is as bad as scientists say, part of me wonders if humans are even capable of reversing it. Watching One Planet, One Chance did not make me optimistic. At all. I wasn't even sure where to begin. The images of suffering were chilling. It was especially disturbing to hear that poor nations would be hit hardest with the ecological effects of climate change. Worst of all, I had absolutely no idea of what could be done to help them. But the one question that nagged me was, can we stop? Our society is very fortunate to have so many luxuries and comforts so readily available to us. But is everyone truly capable of sacrificing all of these luxuries that our society has grown so accustomed to? And most importantly, can our society maintain its current standard of living with alternate forms of energy? Things started to take a turn for the better once I started reading Climate Change. It was so refreshing that Squarzoni admitted his ignorance on climate change and didn't just pretend to know what he was talking about. It almost felt like we were going on a journey together, that I wasn't completely alone in my lack of knowledge. Everything was going to be just fine, right?
Wrong!
Squarzoni would just go all emo on me and hit me with all these depressing facts that I had absolutely no idea of how to handle. It kind of felt like I was reading from the book of Revelation in the Bible. They both mentioned how waters would turn bitter and how many people would die, and how the earth would just burn up, and just general destruction for those who destroyed the earth. Despite the sad news, part of me thought that somehow everything would just fall into place, and that Squarzoni would just say, as crappy as our impending doom sounds, there's a perfect solution that will benefit everyone. I mean, after seeing Salgado's photographs at the ICP, I thought there has to be some way to preserve the art that God, or Mother Nature, or whatever you believe in, has created for us. But alas, that was not the case. It seemed like the more I learned about climate change, the less I actually knew about it.
What?
I know that sounds weird and makes no sense, but let me explain. Any information that I found just led to even more questions, with no real answers. And anytime Squarzoni brought up any sort of solution, he would just tear it down and show all of their flaws. It just felt like nothing would ever be good enough to effectively handle the issue. The part of climate change that hit me the hardest was the 9th section, What's at Stake? One of the experts said, we can't change this lifestyle if we stay in this individualist mentality. It's only possible if we rediscover a sense of community and common interest. And that is the polar opposite of capitalism. Honestly, I don't have any major problems with capitalism. Sure, it's not perfect. No system is, but it does a great job at meeting the needs of the consumer. And I know that in any society, there has to be some constraints on individual liberties in order to maintain stability. But if the principles of capitalism oppose the efforts of combating climate change? Would we have to use a completely different economic system? And what would be the consequences if America did have to give up capitalism for the sake of the planet? And what about individualism? In Western culture, there's a clear focus on the success of the individual rather than the success of the collective group. Would there have to be a change in the Western concept of self in order to collectively combat global warming? Is it ethically right to compel others to put aside their own self-interest for the sake of others?
Would future generations really
and just
have
how much
a
freedom
better
would we
world
have to
to
give
live
up
in?
if they don't think that taking away certain freedoms just creates
Are
more
you doing this to
problems?
me for these questions even have answers?
But I digress. Let's get back to actually finishing up this reflection. Many scientists say that the effects of climate change could eventually lead to massive extinction of life on Earth. So essentially, it would be the end of the world as we know it. So I guess my question is, are humans able to stop or postpone the end of the world? What will be the ultimate end for humanity? Honestly, the only thing that I can come up with is I think Patrick Starr is actually right in this case. I mean, no one can definitively say what the end will look like until it actually happens. So, do I think that humans will actually solve climate change? I don't know. But I'm okay with not knowing. But what I know for sure is that I still have so much to learn about the issue. I have a much better understanding of why people believe in climate change and why they fight so strongly over the issue. But what about the many people that criticize the validity of climate change? It's easy to say that those who don't accept climate change are ignorant, selfish, and don't care about future generations. But is the issue really that black and white? What's their reasoning? The vast majority of people don't have a personal vendetta against the planet, and I think that having an understanding of the opposing side of the issue can help ease the division that the issue has caused. But above all, I'm going to continue to search for the truth and ask difficult, ambiguous questions, even if I ask way too many and get on people's nerves.